This is the ultimate roadmap that you're going to need to start your print-on-demand business this year. This is the roadmap I wish I had personally when I was starting way back in 2014. So what I'm going to take you through in this video are the products to choose and where to sell them, the suppliers to use, because they do differ, and there's only a couple of products that I do recommend. Then I'm going to take you into the niches, I'm going to take you into the design process, the advertising setup, and then how to actually strategize or structure your week so you get the most bang for your buck. So let's go. So the first step is we're going to need to choose a product that we're going to focus on. Now, there's only 2 tier 1 products right now in the industry that I recommend, and these are based on a few different parameters. So firstly, they're good quality. So what we want to see is that the customers absolutely love these pieces that they're getting, because you want these 5-star reviews. The different platforms, so if you're selling on Amazon or if you're selling on Etsy, they're actively asking for reviews. And if your reviews fall and they're getting 3 stars or less, you're not going to be performing too well in those algorithms, which means you're not going to exist for very long at all. This is where print on demand stands out from dropshipping. We know these products are great. They've sold millions of pieces before from suppliers that have sold millions and have fulfilled millions of packages. So when we have that trust from the supplier, it makes the process of marketing that much easier. So outside of those platforms, we've also got Facebook, and Facebook is actively surveying our customers as well. So they want to know what the customer service experience was like, and that's the conversations and whatnot that you have with your customers. That could be so much as them reaching out to find where a package is, just the whole process of purchasing from you. So Facebook's asking about that. They're also asking about the product quality, whether or not what was advertised is what they ended up receiving. So again, if you fall in the customer feedback with Facebook, over time, you're going to be restricted in your advertising efforts there as well. So we need to know these products are amazing. So the 2 tier 1 products, we want to make sure they're good quality. The next thing we want to make sure is that they're easy to design, because when it's easy to design, we can get up a lot of different tests. And it's through these tests that we actually find these winners that we scale and make a lot of money from. Thirdly, we want to make sure that they're easy to upload. That process is seamless, and we're getting ready-made mock-ups from the images that we're uploading. If you've got those ready-made mock-ups, again, it makes the process of advertising that much easier. We want speed. When we're strapped for time, if we've got a 9 to 5 or whatnot, we want to make sure when we're in the business, we're working on the activities that are actually going to make the money for us. The next one is we want to make sure that they've got tons of profit. When we've got a lot of profit in it, and that's $30 plus, it allows us to test a lot more comfortably, because what happens is when you start selling, whether it's 1s or 2s, you're replenishing that ad budget fairly quickly. And when you scale, you get to scale for longer, harder, and further, which means you're making a hell of a lot more money in that process. And number 5 is we want to make sure that they're fulfilled from within America, because when we're selling into the United States, and that's the market that we're choosing, we want to make sure that they're shipped quickly. When they're shipped quickly and we cover all those other bases, we know that we're providing a very good experience for our customers. So what are the 2 products that I talk about and that I highly recommend that you look into? Print-on-demand jewelry and made-on-demand metal art. And you'll see all the different videos on my channel are predominantly focused on these 2 products. And there's suppliers with them. With jewelry, the only one I recommend in the United States right now is Shine On, and I've been working with them since way back in 2016 when they first came through. Yes, they've had difficult periods where they've let customers down and the merchants and whatnot, but they're a great company, and the reason why they're still around is because they learn from their mistakes. When they make mistakes, they make sure they implement processes to make sure they don't happen again. So I absolutely love Shine On, and you'll get that message and that feeling from my channel when you watch these other videos too, and I suggest you do start with this one here. And made on demand metal art. Now there's 3 amazing suppliers with made on demand metal art. Again, we've got Shine On. My Easy Monogram has a ton of great catalog pieces. Brad is doing an incredible job with this platform. I suggest you take a look. And if you sign up through my link in the description below, you'll get 10% off for that first month as well. And number 3 is T-Launch. T-Launch is going to give you the best chance of success because they allow you to create custom pieces. So that means you can go and find your niche, whether it be, tabletop gaming or golf or baseball or you name it, whatever niche you choose, you can start thinking about those passion points, the emotional triggers that are going to have people buying from you. And most often, the things that do really help with selling metal art: names, dates, the niche images. So, we've done a lot of work with the bikers, and with bikers, the silhouettes of the bikes, the different types, being very, very careful not to step on any copyright or trademarks with that. It's a very fine line when it does come down to the shapes and silhouettes with vehicles. So that's the suppliers. That's step one, choosing the product. Choose between jewelry and metal. Now there's two different styles of designing with them. One's more about phrase creation and getting really creative with words, and with metal art it's more about the design. How do you create these designs and emotionally connect? So it's more image based. Now getting into step two, we want to choose 3 to 5 niches. When we choose 3 to 5 niches, you want to try and keep them in the same sort of group. And you can watch my video right here about that niche grouping idea. So instead of just going into, husband to wife in the broadest category there is, and then choosing nursing, and then choosing bikers, and then hunters, and all these disjointed groups, what you want to do is niche group. So yes, you may have a husband and wife in there, in that broad category, and I suggest you have a broad category, but you also want to bring it back and go, okay, so I want to test a few different niches, but in that, I want to be sort of focused. And by sort of focused, I mean it allows you to create a voice, speak from a place that allows you to connect with your customer base. Because when you're on your social media, you want to make sure that you have a connection with your audience. So yeah, the questions you're asking, the content that you're sharing. So niche grouping would be a wilderness store where you can focus on, kayaks, mountain biking, hiking. You can get into several different niches, but still have that wilderness aspect to it. It could be engines, so your truckers, hot rods, bikers, motocross. So keeping them together, so you've got that, with engines type stuff, you could have a grungy sort of voice. You know who you're talking to, you know where you're speaking from. So when you have your 3 to 5 niches, you want to look for 10 concepts for each week. So if you've got 3 different niches, you would have 30 concepts all up. Now, when you've chosen a particular product type, say jewelry, a lot of those phrases that you go out and find can be applied to each of those different niches that you've chosen, particularly when you do niche group. And the same with designs. If you've got a standard design, so it could be an oval with the niche image inside and a bit of personalization, all you're swapping out is that image in the middle. So you want to try and keep it as simple as possible when you're doing this concept research. Now, when you're finding your concepts for jewelry, the easiest way to make sure that you can prioritize and put them into a place that you can come back to later is by using a Google Sheet. And this is the way I've set mine up. So in here, I've got 6 columns. The intro, adjective, recipient, moneymaker, the blend, and the sign off. So in here, you're going to notice that sometimes a phrase that you find suits better for the start of a phrase. And then there's going to be some that sign off quite well. So this one here, you can see that you are my love story, and I write you into everything I do, everything I see, everything I touch, and everything I dream. You're the words that fill the most beautiful chapters of my life. That in itself is actually a really good phrase. But you may want to add something unique to it, because I've probably found this on something else and gone, you know what, we need to mix this up and make it unique. You need to do that anyway. So the blend would be adding something like, you're my life, my love, my best friend, my love for you will never end. So you're creating a new product, a new design, a new phrase. So in that, you have one new design, but the recipients you can change out and have multiple different variants based on that one phrase. The sign-offs can change, give you more variants. So it allows you to explode your output when you're actually looking for these phrases. So in here, every time you find one you like, you just come and add it into this sheet. So when you're using different niches, like when you've got multiple niches in your niche group, like I'm going to explain to you shortly, you've got one sheet per niche. So this may be just for the husband and wife category. The next one may be to motocross, the next one to bikers, the next one to truckers. All you do is duplicate this sheet, because sometimes these phrases can be used across multiple niches because all you will change is "to my stunning writing partner for life," "to my stunning trucker wife," or something like that, to change the angle, to change the niche that you're going into. And then using a phrase that makes sense. You're 1,000 miles away, but no one is closer to my heart than you are. That's a great one for truckers because you're always traveling and whatnot. So you can do a lot of damage with a sheet like this. You can get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. Next, having a sheet in Trello like this, particularly if you're working with a VA, so future pace yourself and go, you know what, I will be working with a VA and a designer in the future. So I want to make sure I get a process down that makes sense and you can see where these designers or assistants are up to at any one time. So this is an idea of a Trello sheet that I've been using for years. So the different boards that we've got, or the different cards, concepts, to do, doing, done, in review, and on hold. And in here you can see a ton of different designs I've put in there. By the way, they're far too design heavy. They need to be much more simple than that, which is why I've just got them as a concept for my designer to do. So this is obviously for metal, but you can see concepts are here. That's just for me to just dump anything and everything that I like into that. So it changes to do once I want my designer to actually work on it. So once it's in that queue, my designer knows to come in here and then start working on them. Prioritize them from 1 to 10 or whatever it is that you're working on. When the designer's working on it, he can move it across to the next card, and then once it's done, there. And then if you want to review it, you put it in the next one. This works for jewelry as well. And then, sometimes, occasionally, you're going to be like, look, I just don't know how to explain what I want for you or for this, and then you put it on hold. And then when it's completed, which should be another card here, you put it there, and then that's at that time it's to be paid. So that's the workflow around how to really blow up your efficiency and get a lot done. Now, getting into step 3, you want to learn how to do basic design. And right now, Canva Pro makes it incredibly easy for you to actually design. With jewelry, it's very simple. It's text on a card. You don't need fancy design embellishments. If you do go into niches, having a simple niche relevant image on there, it's clip art, it's a silhouette, it's not difficult, and they have tons of different stock images that you can use on there. And with Canva Pro, you do get commercial access to the fonts and the images that you're using as well. Whereas if you're using Photoshop, you may have to pay for enhanced licenses or whatnot to make sure that you've got the commercial rights to use those images. Or you could use something like Creative Fabrica, where they have tons of different designs. And right now, if you click the link in my description below, you can get access for $1 for your first month. And I think it's 30% off for every month after that. But when you take designs from there, take the niche elements out of it, because you can use them in your own designs and create something unique. And it's all about creating those unique pieces. So once you've got those 10 concepts for each of those niches, you want to make sure that you've got 5 designs for each. So we're creating a surplus in our Trello or in our drive of different concepts that we've got that we can pull on. So if there's a week where you can't get work done, you can still go back in there and find what it is that you need and still have something there to work with each week, because it's all about consistency over time. So 5 designs for each niche each week. 10 concepts, 5 designs. The next step is learning a simple advertising structure, and I suggest you check out this one here. Once you've got that advertising structure, you stick to it. This is a proven method. You're not taking bits and bobs from everybody that's run ads in the past, whether it be Joe Roberts and Michael Christ or Jim Cremella. You want to make sure that you're following one person's method, particularly until you know how to run ads yourself. Don't just come in here assuming that you're just gonna, wing it and try and throw some ads up, because you're gonna waste a lot of money, a lot of time that you don't have. So make sure you follow a method. Once you've got that method down, it comes down to those fundamentals of design. And like I said, I've got tons of different videos speaking about those fundamentals. Check it out, because once you stick to those fundamentals and you've got that simple system with your ads, the consistency over weeks becomes so much easier. Now, once you've got that ad structure down, we want to get into how many different launches we're doing each week. And my suggestion for launches each week is getting up 10 to 15 different campaigns. With this testing, you are investing, you are going out there and searching for these winners. There's no amount of designing, there's no amount of just uploading these designs to platforms that's going to bring in the sales. You're going to learn where the sales come from by running the ads. Because when you're running ads, you get the data coming back. It doesn't matter what your friends or family think about your designs, it matters what the data says. Because as you run more and more ads, you're going to see some of them have different levels of engagement, which means when somebody sees your design, one may just start having a hell of a lot more add to carts than several others that you've done. When they've got add to carts, you know you're getting close to a product that people want to buy. And obviously when people are buying, there's indications there you've created something that people need. And it's those needs and the reiteration from those designs and those breadcrumbs that you're being left that allows you to get closer and closer to finding those winners that you can scale. Not every piece that you design is going to sell. And that's why the step 6 of this process is making sure that you've got an Etsy store. So everything that you test on Facebook or TikTok, wherever it is that you're testing, ends up on a home fully optimized on Etsy, on a marketplace where people are actively searching for these different products. So that is an overview of the strategy of how to get started with print on demand. I know there's a lot of information in there and I suggest you watch it back. But this is the structure. That is how you can get the best bang for your buck from the time that you've got to spend in this side hustle. Follow the process week in, week out, and that's going to get you closer and closer to the success that you're chasing. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you ask any questions below. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, like, do all those things, because that'll show YouTube that you're interested and you want to see this content in the future. I am dropping new videos all the time. Now, if you're interested in working with me personally, make sure you check out podhacks.co. See you in the next one.